Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm prompting. Who wants to see those mugs right away, right? You know? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to The Way We See It. Another Tuesday night, December 19th, 2023. I gotta tell you, Santa is coming. I want to introduce my boys, Mr. D. What's
Hello,
up, man? Don't look too enthused there, pal. You're doing all right there?
Oh, shit, man. I fell asleep on your introduction. I think it was 4.5 minutes.
Oh,
I'm ready now, though. Thanks for the wake up call.
And ladies and gentlemen, of course, there's only one way to introduce a man of his talent, scholar, and he can cook a pretty good duck too. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the one and only Mr. B.
I don't know about cooking duck, but I sure might tell you my goose is being cooked. But Blaze, I'm glad that I'm here. Today is the 19th of December, and historically, I know that you've followed me for quite a while. Every year for the last several years, historically for December the 19th, I've always done this, believe it or not. And so if you'll pardon me if I can take a couple of minutes here, I'm going to begin. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, with hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and high my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon, all abreast of the new fallen snow, gave a luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh, and 8 tiny reindeer, and a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. And more rapid than eagles, the coursers they flew, as he whistled and shouted and flew my name. Down Dasher, and on Dancer, and on Prancer and Vixen, on Comet and Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, from the top of the porch to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. Right about then is when my first wife ate Tokyo.
Real good, Mr. B.
Oh, I love it. I love the Christmas spirit. Hey, everybody on TikTok, welcome to The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network.
And yes, I have done that every year for the last several years now.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, Mr. B. I enjoyed that. It's I don't. Why does Christmas have to be like I don't know, like different when we get older, man? Because for me, it's like every year as I was getting older, and after I had when I had my boys, Christmas was still the same to me because everything that my wife and I did, of course, we do for our children, So every Christmas morning, you know what I mean, and they're up at 5. And it's like, all right, Sonny boy and whatever, let mommy and daddy, get a coffee and, wipe the crust from our eyes and we'll be right out there. And then they get older, one gets married, he moves out, you know what I mean? The other one's here because he's smart and he's just saving all his cash. And he's home too, right? And I don't know, man. It doesn't feel the same. I look forward to my niece coming, because she's still young, opening up her presents and my nephews and things like that. But I don't know, man. Mr. B, how do you feel towards that?
I'm a person. I don't want to get into mashing things or whatever else, but I'm a person of great personal faith, and Christmas is a lot more than things of that nature. If we keep it with us in our heart, if we truly watch and listen and learn the lessons that Dickens teaches us of all things through his writings, if we remember and we hold to the memories and pass them and live them so that the next generation sees them, then Christmas will not die or lose any any weight to it. Christmas will survive and and be jolly and be we filled with goodwill and remembered. But there's also the other aspect that there are some with us and there's some that we are missing who have gone from this place, and that also can weigh somewhat heavily on our thoughts at this time of year as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, D, I know you're a Grincher. I'd have you, jump right in on that now. I'm just busting your balls. Listen, is it that way for you, Mr. D?
Um, no, I mean, let's hit the rewind button here.
Go right ahead.
Um, I don't know. They took away Sundays as a day of rest, and I'm not getting biblical or anything like that.
No.
Sundays were sacred, and they took that away from us. And I know you know this, Mister B, but I really believe they're coming after Christmas.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's why people like us, and there's many, many, many more. We just need to keep that spirit alive, not only in our heart, but to broadcast it. Put up them Christmas tree lights. Put up that beautiful Christmas tree behind you. Let people know where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I agree.
Indeed.
But do you think kids, society today with the kids? I mean, because my oldest boy and my daughter-in-law, and my oldest boy, he said, he's been really, ticking his own man off a little bit. He's bouncing around, talking to his mom, and they're old. I hate Christmas. I don't know, why do you hate Christmas? Too much money. It's too much money. And I look at him and said, number one, he wasn't brought up like that to be walking around saying I hate Christmas. So apparently you got that from something else, because once they're old enough, they're out of they're out of your reach a little bit. You know what I mean? I still hope that my sons, heed when I try to give them some advice or something, but um that really bothered me when he said that, man. And I got a little bit angry, and I'm like, what the, yeah, I mean, what do you mean you hate Christmas, man? You wasn't brought up to be like that.
Well, language like that came right out of that
But
horrible
that's
Jim
just
Carrey Grinch movie.
right. But that's just the point I'm trying to make. I mean, like Mr. D said, how long is it before they try to come after Christmas? You know what I mean?
The problem is they're taking things like Christmas and Easter and these holidays out of the church. They are they are divorcing God from the holidays that are about the things that happened in his history and turning it into something about money. You see the advertisements. Get more Christmas here. No, Christmas, you don't get more Christmas. Christmas was free. Christmas was something given to us by the Lord God. You want to give gifts to people? That's fine. That's wonderful. I buy chocolates and candies and wrappings and this and that,
That's when
whatever else.
corporations got involved. That's when the big corporations got involved. I mean, look at the Easter. Easter is exactly what it's for. You go to church, because Jesus rose on that day. You know what I mean? And that's what it's for. Now it's just candy, and eggs and hunting for eggs and putting $1 in an egg and
Right.
stuff like that.
When it's about rebirth and redemption, a second beginning, a second chance that God, and this is how I know I could never possibly be God, because God gave his son, horribly tortured his son to save the people of the world. I could never give up my son to save
humanity.
humanity.
Hey, the bulletin board's filling up. Why don't you tackle some of them, Mr. B?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I can't see the ones that there's done as a crispy fart. I say, as long as a Facebook user, when your birthday is 12 days before Christmas, the older you get, the more you get screwed. Well, guess what? Mine's 4 days after. So I understand that this is
Oh,
the first Christmas that
hey, time
JJ
out.
understands. Yes,
Time
yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Time
yeah.
out, B. My wife is the 29th as well.
Oh, well, happy birthday to her as well, then.
Yes.
And
Sorry,
this is
bud.
this is the first Christmas that JJ understands Santa. Otherwise, the two older kids know the truth. And we have Crispy Farco who says they've been coming after Christmas fucking holiday tree. Tammy St. Pierre, how you doing, Tammy? Said it bothered me so much. Christmas is not about presents; it should be about family and being together. Which, there you go,
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
what she was answering the question about when I was talking about our oldest boy, because that really bothered her too, and it's like, what is, I just want to throw this in here real quick. I see nothing in the chat, guys. You just seeing shit in the chat?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow,
I'm seeing things. This is, I guess, probably the Facebook
Yeah.
thing, and we
wow.
have we have an interesting one about any advice for finding love. Yes, get away from your computer and go out and talk to somebody.
Yes. Go hang out at Starbucks and look sophisticated.
I default.
I don't know.
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
We
God
don't need to
forbid.
go there.
But um, one thing for me is thanks TikTok, all 13 of you right now. Come on, like and share. All right, so there's a slight disconception, okay, about Christmas and Jesus. For me, because Jesus wasn't born Christmas, man. Jesus was born in the summer.
But
Okay.
you're the one to say when you lived in California, you rather it wasn't Christmas because you were on a tank top and shorts.
Absolutely, yes.
So they made it better for you, man. They programmed it out to where Blaise St. Pierre is gonna be happy with 6 feet of snow on Christmas Day, and done. Why you complaining then, brother?
I'm not. I'm not
You're
complaining.
you're
I'm
trying to be,
trying.
you're trying to be nonfiction, the truth from what you've learned. I know when you're trying to make a point, and go on, Blaze.
Um, I appreciate that, D. I do. Because um, I don't understand why the misconception, and maybe the man that is totally in control with history, and there's nobody better that I would like to listen to about history than the one and only Mr. B.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm just curious, Mr. B, why the misconception?
Why did they change it from when the actual quote unquote event is believed to have taken
Well,
place?
yeah, the whole star, the whole Three Kings, the whole night. That was in summer.
Uh, in which hemisphere of the world?
Israel,
Okay,
Bethlehem.
all right. Oh, okay. here's my point. Man has his will and God has his will. Man decides to turn around and say, well, I think this is what God would want. Why? Because without Christmas, what do you got to look forward to? How many months of snow and ice and darkness and dismal things? No. So people want to turn around and spring things up. Well, guess what? Now we're going to have the holiday here. Wonderful, fantastic. Let's do things and write songs and poetry and this and that, and everybody will be happy that way.
Do you
That way
think again it was?
to do.
Do you think again it was corporations?
No. At
Because
that date, that
I'm trying. Go ahead, bro. I'm trying to figure out what the reason, for doing it in Christmas. What was you gonna say, D?
I totally forgot, but
That's all right, brother.
I felt bad. I was
And
interrupting
Mr.
you.
B, I mean, look, anybody who's watching the show right now, and there's quite a few is, and I thank you for tuning in. Why? I think it's again corporations got involved.
Well, corporations.
There's nothing in the Bible.
Well.
There's nothing in the Bible that sits there and says that.
Governments as well, not just corporations, but governments. Because again, everything before the advent of electricity and whatever else falls dormant when? In the winter months.
Right.
You've got no money flowing anywhere. If anything, people are out chopping down trees to try and keep themselves warm. Hello, good King Wenceslas. It stands to reason that they would do something to try to spark things so that things could keep going,
right?
And people would be able to get out and do whatever. All in all, unfortunately, this is what we've got. We have to make the best of it and go on with it. The problem is, every time we turn around, there's somebody else turning another screw, trying to make it more about the almighty dollar, shekel, pound, Deutschmark, yen, whatever,
right?
Instead of about the
right.
The cataclysmic.
My boy, like truly,
change coming.
Right. My oldest is like, I don't know. I try to explain. I'm like, dude, you can walk in daddy and mommy's house with nothing in your hand. You walking through the door on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve is enough for your mom and your dad. You know what I mean? So we're not asking anything from you. And that really struck a nerve with my wife and myself. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce a special guest that just popped in on the show. Gentleman's name is Renee, and he is a panel member on the I-12 Real Talk with Real People here on the FFN Network on Sunday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m. I'd like to welcome in Renee. Hey, Renee, how are you?
Good evening. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Pleasure
Good
to be
evening.
here. Mr. B, how are you?
Outstanding. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there, brother.
Glad to see you here. Welcome.
So, Renee, as you know, because you've been watching, and I thank you for popping on with us. What are your thoughts about what we're carrying on about?
You mean about Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, why does it feel when you're older? This is my opinion. For me, it's when you're older, it just seems like it. It's just, excuse my pun, but the star, it's not really there for me no more. Again, my oldest sons, I hate questions and shit like that. And again, Jesus wasn't born on Christmas Eve. He was born in the summertime, and corporation involved in all of this fun stuff. Or what's your take on it, right?
So I was born a Catholic. I'm Jewish by conversion, but I celebrate both. So I will say this: Christmas is a state of mind. You got it with it. I got it with me 365 days a year. It's all what you believe. It's all what's in your heart.
Right. And And I agree with that. I mean, we could sit here and make it all as simple as possible, but unfortunately, we have a show to do. So,
Right.
you know, we got to, you know, try to read into it is, you know, a little bit more.
Yep.
But again, to me, I think it's just, you know, big corporations just looking for a buck. They wreck everything.
They start in September, actually.
Yeah.
You go into Lowe's in September, they got Christmas trees and Christmas decorations up and everything up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, to get everybody on the ball with everything, you know? I mean,
well, Chris P. Farkle just made a comment. Walmart already has Valentine chocolates out.
Yeah, that's the marketing trend. Christmas stuff is disappearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, Renee, I'm sorry. First time I ever met you. I've seen you on your radio show. You got a real good supporting cast.
Thank you.
Bunch of grown ass men. We need more of that in this world. My second thing to you is, wow, that's Catholic, and you went to Judaism. You did that, huh?
Yep.
Was that for your significant other?
Yes, at the time, yeah.
Okay.
That's a long story, but
we can talk that at the table with a cup of coffee.
No, but just to end it with this. So, being a Jew, practicing Judaism, you guys don't believe in the New Testament. You just believe in the Old Testament. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Awesome.
You know, we got to have a little bit of discussion here on all that stuff like that. I mean, you know, because when was the New Testament written? Does anybody know? Wasn't it in the 40s or something?
The date wise, I'm not sure. I can find
the New Testament.
Yes, the New Testament.
The New Testament was started at the time of Christ's teachings. Things were recorded and so forth. The text and so forth.
Where's the Old Testament?
33. I mean, it started when we started tracking time.
Yeah. Yes.
You got BC, and then you got AD. And when you start AD time, you start off at 001. Or am I wrong?
No, you're right. So I just looked it up. It says the 4 Chronicle Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, were all compromised within the Roman Empire between 70 and 110 CE, 5 to 10 years. His biographies of Jesus of Nazareth. So that's the New Testament.
Right. Okay. So in BC, for those of you that don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, is before Christ. So, but yeah, I just wanted to get everybody's take on that. And before we move on to, I guess it's okay, you know, to bang a significant other in the Senate room.
I was just talking about that, yeah.
So with any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, hold on, and we're going to throw a quick video up there, and we're just going to discuss the shit out of this one. So
we're going to pop break?
Yeah, we'll run for break real quick, ladies and gentlemen, and when we come back, we'll get into this video. Stick around for more The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network, and we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
No matter what you are, I will always be with you. Doesn't matter what you do, girl. Ooh, girl, want you. No matter where you go, I will always be around. Won't you tell me what you found, girl? Ooh, girl, want you.
Sorry. Get it out, bud.
Oh,
Okay. I super apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The Way We See It, right here on the FFN Network. So, Mr. B, you said you wanted to make a quick statement before we threw the video.
I've got a quick statement, and Renee, I certainly hope you might come into agreement with me on this. These terrorist protests involving thousands of brainless, unsuspecting marchers and participants are setting the stage for thousands, nay, tens of thousands, to be butchered in a coordinated bombing and gunfire attack. And these people refuse to see it coming. These Pied Pipers keep taking these people who just go along for the ride and go on these marches, blocking up streets or whatever else. Sooner or later, these people are going to go walking right into a kill zone. And these people will detonate truck and car bombs all over the place, blowing these people all to hell.
It's only a matter of time before it happens.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Wait a minute, though. And Renee, you mean on this soil, right, sir?
On this soil, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Totally just twisted my head around, Mr. B. All right, so I guess apparently it's okay to fool around and make a wild sex tape in the Senate, but a Colorado judge can say that Donald Trump doesn't belong on the ballot. So let's take a quick peek at this video, and we will discuss, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's move on to the. I don't even know how to set this up. Let's just put it this way. There was a Senate staffer who was engaged in some pretty crazy conduct. Let's go and put this up there on the screen. So my old colleagues, my old friend Henry Roger reports this story. This is definitely not safe for work, though, for everybody who's watching. Senate staffer has been caught filming a graphic gay sex tape in a Senate hearing room, posing both in amateur pornography images that he distributed on Instagram and amongst a group chat of fellow gay staffers on Capitol Hill, in addition to posting video of himself engaged in a gay sexual act while he was in the Senate hearing room. Now, this hearing room is the Senate Judiciary Room, of which he actually worked for Senator Ben Cardin and had access to this room as a high-level staffer, largely because this is open previously to things like Sonia Sotomayor's hearing room, the James Comey testimony, and it's also one that he posted about on his private Instagram. So anyway, this was, I was telling our editorial team, the number of people who have sent me a gay pornography of this gentleman, please stop, because my phone is now full of gay porn of this man, and I don't want to see this man's ass.
When you have these woke revolutions, it requires all of us at some point to say, no, I'm not going
ever again. I've seen so much of it now at this point. And largely it was people who worked with him on Capitol Hill, and they were like, you got to put this out there. I'm like, I'm sorry, enough has been done at this point. What I find personally humorous is this gentleman's defense of himself. Let's put this up there on the screen. His name is Aiden. I'm going to go with Mace Krozepski. Anyway, here's what he says on LinkedIn, which is also amazing. This has been a difficult time for me as I've been attacked for who I love to pursue a political agenda. Right. While some of my actions in the past have shown poor judgment, I love my job, would never disrespect my workplace. Any attempts to characterize my actions otherwise are fabricated, and I will be exploring what legal options are available to me in these matters. As for accusations regarding Congressman Max Miller, I have never seen the congressman had no opportunity to cause, yell, or confront.
I don't even know about that.
So there was a dual controversy. So the other part of the controversy was that Aiden, this staffer, was a staffer who yelled at a congressman, Free Palestine, who was a pro-Israel congressman. They had named him anonymously, but nobody knows if it was actually him. Max Miller has not confirmed that it was him. At this point, I have no idea. I mean, he rejects it. Nobody else seems to have any information to the contrary. Well, we certainly do have information is how this gentleman was conducting himself very openly. What I find astounding about this guy is that this.
Yeah, nobody cares about your opinion. Listen, so listen, how did this dude, while he was doing that, not understand that anybody could walk in that area at any time?
I don't think he really cared. I mean, somebody was filming it, obviously. And then they put it out on every internet platform that they could. I don't think he cared. But for the record, that happened on Amy Klobuchar's desk, by the way.
Really?
I found out. Yeah.
Yes, I heard that too.
Yeah.
Really? So do you think there was some kind of fantasy going on? Or it was just a desk picked out of random?
Perhaps the thought of getting caught in the act may have enhanced the excitement, so to speak. I mean, this guy's gone all in to get some melikaliki kaka. Now he's getting this as well.
I get to hand it to Mr. B on that one. It was probably the thrill of getting caught.
Yeah, and just the voyeurism.
People do that all the time, and when they get caught, they say, "Hey, it was a thrill."
Well, nowadays, I can't. I think we'll follow this story here and there when it pops up, because I'm interested in the fact on what is he going to get reputation. What is he going to get
reprimanded?
No, lawyer
Representation.
Thank you. What's he gonna say, D? For real, what do you think this snowflake's gonna say?
Oh, I have no idea. This is way out my league, man.
I mean, it's like, oh, Your Honor, I have a sex problem, or Your Honor, I mean,
I don't. Why is this going to court?
Yeah, he just said when the guy read the statement that he was going to get representation. Yeah, what could he say?
Nah, he's just going to get reprimanded and never be on.
Oh, he got fired.
Are you kidding me?
He got fired.
Take a look around you and what our society has become. This guy's getting pats on the back in every corner of the world, wherever he travels. They're saluting him. They're celebrating this guy.
Because
saying,
again,
all right, guy, go out and get some more, whatever else. See what else can be done. They're probably lining up one of these challenge things like the kids were doing with Tide Pods.
Because again, it's just the way society's becoming now. You know what I mean? It's like these young people think they can just do whatever they want to, and I am absolutely curious on what he's going to bring to the table.
I'm going to say something out here, and Donnie always
seen that.
But no, it's who's in charge, man. We've all tried to figure out our boss in the day one till the end of time, and they look who's in charge, man. Look who's in charge of the White House, man. It's a regular shit show there, man, with President Biden at the realm. Cocaine. There's a whole other shit that goes on in there, and we're just known to take it now with a minimum repercussion, so nobody's feelings gets hurt. Yes, Blaze, if it does go to court, this is where the wimp will say, I have a problem with sex. And then it'll be free and clear to go on with his happy life.
And the government will cut him a check just so there's no further repercussions, and that'll be the end of the deal.
Yeah. Yes, okay. So what's going to be the deal, right? Say this goes through, here's the slap on the hand, right? And then what are they going to say to him? Look, man, next time put a sock on the fucking door.
No, that's not where he wants the slap. Trust me.
No, but all he's got to do is go and say, hey, I'm gay. I got a sex problem and I can't control it. And this happened.
Right then and there, protected class.
Bingo. Bingo, bingo,
Yes.
bingo. Gay. That's the word, protected class.
Yes.
Oh man. I mean,
But look at us. So
You
You know-
want to talk about protected classes, okay? Not one of us guys here tonight on this radio program is in a protective class. Just ask Mayor Wu how many were invited to a Christmas party. All right, Mr. B, you hit the nail on the head with the word protective class.
I would have to differ with you. I would have to differ with you on a personal note.
Go ahead.
I have a portion of Native American Indian in mine.
Okay.
So I am part of, if you will, a protected class. I don't make a big thing about it. I never have. I never will. But for all intents and purposes, I do have a portion that would allow me a lot better than Elizabeth Warren to say that I'm a member of protected class, and I am a mixed race person.
But I still didn't see a name on Mayor Wu's Christmas party list. So
no, she doesn't know about me. And believe me,
okay, all right.
That's the thing.
all right. Let's D, you got something to say?
I saw that Michelle Wu bullshit. And this is where we're going. Every facet of life. You don't see that shit happen. Let me time out real quick. You don't see that happening so much in red states versus blue states. You just don't. And I'm not cutting Massachusetts down or New Hampshire down. I love them states. I think they're God's country. But you just don't see that shit in Texas happening. You don't. You don't. Look what Governor Abbott, what he just did today. I can't remember the bill number. It's SB 4 something, but it gives the right for a local police officer to arrest an illegal migrant right now. And then soon thing he signed it, the ACLU is taking Texas to court that it infringes on their rights as humans, not as Americans, but as humans. Doesn't the ACL purpose? I mean, a requisite for them to represent you. One, you should be a citizen or a legal green card holder.
Yeah, there's something in the name there that's very old. ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union.
No, it's anybody.
Okay, all right,
Civil Liberties Union.
Okay.
Renee, care to jump in?
Yeah, I'm going to give the ACLU a pass on that one because thanks to them, you can take a picture of your ballot now and post it.
Oh, Jesus,
I do that all the time. Not all joking aside.
Mm-hmm.
ACLU takes it to the next level. There are actually a bunch of lawyers that really can't find real jobs, and they're out trying to make a name for themselves.
Yes, sir.
How do you explain Alan Dershowitz?
Alan Dershowitz is a constitutional genius. I can put up with Alan Dershowitz's bullshit. He actually represented Trump in the impeachment hearing. So I get a lot of respect for Dershowitz, even though I don't agree with his politics.
Well, let's take a listen to Jesse Waters with Miss Wu.
Ah, yes.
I didn't see this already. I didn't. I'm really looking forward to this clip.
Well, let's get it going.
Grace Curley is the host of the Grace Curley Show on WRKO, and she confronted Mayor Wu this morning. Grace, if it's such a good thing to have an anti-white Christmas party, why won't the mayor say whose idea it was?
That's a really great point, Jesse. And why was everyone who was going to this party covering their faces from the paparazzi that were interested in it. I mean, this is what you get. It's the political progressive movement in a nutshell. They want to lecture us, these elected officials, with these big educations on what it means to be tolerant, what it means to be diverse, what it means to be inclusive. And what's the product of this woke utopia? Segregated Christmas parties? I mean, if you flip this, Jesse, and you had a white mayor who said, I want to invite all the white elected officials to a party at the Parkman House and not invite anyone else, there would be outrage, and rightfully so, because most people know that it's the wrong thing to do. You don't exclude people based off the color of their skin. It's so basic, and yet these woke politicians don't understand it.
Did she look nervous? Because she looks nervous on camera.
Yes, she did. I should say that I don't think she has a lot of reason to be nervous. There's not a lot of journalists in these parts that are asking these questions. I was totally alone. It wasn't like a gaggle of people, hounding her for answers. It was just me. So she knew she just had to get into the Tea Party, and then she would get out of the way.
Well, Grace, what about the 7 whites? We call them the uninvited whites. Are they upset at all, or do they just not really feel like going to an additional Christmas party?
I think that from what I've heard from the councilmen and women, that they're happy not to go to the Christmas parties. They're not easily offended, but I just don't think it sets the right tone, especially with all the division you're seeing. And on a serious note, Jesse, as someone from Massachusetts and someone who has so much pride in the city of Boston, there's such a rich history here. There's so much to be proud of. The last couple of weeks and the last few spectacles between the president of Harvard at those congressional hearings and now Mayor Wu, it's doing us a huge disservice. And if this is what all of this elite education is creating, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention the Patriots.
So, if this was anybody besides a Democrat that did this, this would be, top news for weeks. Why is she getting a pass?
Because she's a Democrat.
Well, I say that too, and I agree with you 100%, Renee, because, but that's an easy answer, sir.
Because she's a Democrat,
Well,
because she is a female, because she is another member of a protected class, being Asian.
Oh, so Asians can't be
being
racist?
a minority?
So Asians can't be racist?
Oh, no, this isn't
Shit.
racist. Just
That's
like
the most
everything
racist thing
everything
I've
that was
ever
happening was all
Since, no
protest.
coloreds allowed. It's insane. Why isn't there people calling for her removal out of office? She definitely better enjoy her time as
Yeah,
mayor
she's in
because
a-
she's
she's
never
in a
getting in
blue-
it again.
She's in a blue state where the media don't question anything. The only one that's questioning anything is Grace Curley. And we're on here talking about it. That's it.
If
Nobody
this had
else-
been a Caucasian Lutheran,
Nobody else
they would have
can.
crucified this person by now.
And if it was a Republican, you bet your ass to be in a courtroom right now somewhere getting sanctioned.
D, what you take? Considering you're from Massachusetts.
Yeah, born and proud. And she brought, I don't know, that young lady that did the report and stuff with Jesse Waters, but she made a key point. She says that Boston has a lot of history to it. And I always knew that. And Paul Revere is true. The Tea Party, that all happened. And a lot of people died for us there. But why is it so reversed? I don't know. But one thing I want to jump to is the Michelle Wu girl. South Korea, I had a fortunate time of spending my last time in the army there, 15 months. Anyways, getting to the meat of the potatoes, they have orphanages there from GIs that have impregnated Korean women. And they do not want nothing with the baby, whether it's a white soldier or a black soldier. You see it all, And then you look at the bigger picture. Look at soccer matches when it's the World Cup. You want to know their immigration policy? Just look at their teams. It'll tell you everything about the country and how they're diverse, inclusion, and all that other bullshit. So this Michelle Wu girl, I deep down in my heart, I know she wanted to piss people off with this move. I really did.
Yeah, she wants to see how far she can take it. I agree with you
Yep.
100%.
Man, but then just going back one more time, and I'm not a really good storyteller when it comes to shit like that, but it is sad on what them orphanages are like and what they contain, and that's all I have on that.
Mr. B, hold on. Let me bring in Donnie, everybody. Hey, Donnie, how are you, bud?
All right, how y'all doing?
We are discussing Miss Wu, the mayor of Massachusetts, Boston, sorry, on her racist remarks, and why isn't she getting humbled? Anybody else would be.
Well, because she's promoting diversity now, but it's supposed to be promoting people of color and minorities, so it's okay. That's the new standard now.
Yeah.
But where's the inclusion where you include everybody?
She did include everybody. There's nothing in DEI that says exclusion. It says diversity, equality, and inclusion. Doesn't mean you have to be asked to be included or be included in it. Do you understand?
Except for white people.
Yeah, we're not included in that group, so it doesn't apply to us.
But Donnie, you know what's wrong. Just like two bulls fucking. You know that shit was wrong. That little stunt she pulled off.
Exactly.
I know it was wrong. It's wrong all across this country, but it is socially acceptable now.
Well, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? And
And
that's
tell me I'm lying.
No, you're not.
Tell me I'm lying.
That's
No,
why I'm
you're
saying
not.
it's bullshit.
Yeah, you're not.
Okay.
You
You know what? I don't
It's
know if he's
acceptable.
so far from
It's a
wrong,
norm.
because look at Harvard.
Right, but she got fired. So
No.
you didn't
She
get
still got a
fired.
job.
Who got fired?
Harvard still got a job.
She does.
And
Pennsylvania
why?
resigned.
Why? Because she's a protected class person.
Yep.
A black person. Exactly.
Yep. She still
Wait.
got a job.
Go
The
ahead,
mayor, you're
Donnie.
talking about the mayor. You're asking about the mayor still has her job.
Yeah. No, we're
No.
still on the same point,
Wasn't
and
Harvard.
we just mentioned the woman from Harvard that
Dr.
went to
Gay.
this. Yeah.
I don't worry about the woman on Harvard.
My point being, look at the situation at Harvard. That's considered acceptable. So this, of course, gets an automatic pass.
Of course.
Renee.
It's acceptable conduct now.
I know you're itching to say something here.
Well,
who's itching?
Oh, Donnie, this is Renee. This is one of the gentlemen that is on I-12 on Sundays. Real Talk with Real People. Renee, Donnie,
yeah,
Renee.
I've talked to Donnie before. Nice to see you
Hey.
again, brother.
Good.
All right, go
nice
ahead.
to see you, sir. Mr. B. Go ahead, Mr. B. I didn't know who was talking to you.
Renee, go ahead.
On what? On Harvard?
Yeah, just what's your take on the whole thing, man?
So, Harvard should have been fired for what she did, but she wasn't. She's protected class because of her skin color, and Wu is protected class too. I think. Here's my take on it, and I've said this before. So this Colorado judge kicked Trump off the ballot today. They're going to try to go one by one by one, and they're going to have a hard time doing that, in my opinion. But what I think ultimately is going to happen is, at some point in time, they're going to suspend the Constitution, and there ain't going to be an election. That's my own personal opinion. And that's going to be the catalyst in 2024 that's going to kick all the bullshit off that we talk about every week.
D, what's your thoughts on that?
Come back to me.
Mr. B, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm processing.
My thoughts on what Renee is saying is there is a bloodletting coming. It is coming.
There you go.
Is it going to be self-induced?
Donnie, what's your take on what Renee just said?
the suspension of the Constitution, I can't see that happening, but I can see revolts and, small little areas, major municipalities, major areas going in and going together, and it's just breaking up into small little groups. I don't think there's enough people organized deep enough to suspend that Constitution and get that far yet. I just don't think it can happen.
Donnie, you think there's going to be a free and fair election in 2024?
No, there hasn't been one in decades. They've been cheating in both ways. It's just who we going to catch in the act, man. There hasn't been a free and open election in probably 20, 30 years, man.
We understand that. I think everybody knows that there's a little cheating going on here and there, but we're talking about at the level of how we feel happened and video evidence that we showed, everything that.
And how far to get us? Nowhere. I'm trying to find some light, fellas. I know it got dark on me.
No, it's okay, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see the election as a fair and anything like that because it hasn't really been fair in a long time. You know what I'm saying? They've been cheating back and forth, and we're catching them more and more. And now it comes to the point they get caught cheating. Oh no, that's bullshit. There's ballot fraud, and I'm pretty sure some of that manipulation was just to try to get some people from not cheating, not getting caught. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Well, now there's
elections are going to be decided by courts because they're going to get held up in courts over people protesting the shit. You see, you know what I mean?
Now they're saying that some of the ballot fraud was actually legitimate.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's over with.
No, but it's over with.
Gentlemen, on top of
that's what I'm saying.
Else, we have the added frosting on this cake of now we have people they're calling them Gen Z who are so discombobulated. They get anxiety about going to a restaurant because there's too many choices on the menu. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Do you think that he's going to stand up and say, you know what? I don't like how you're taking my rights away, how you're trampling on the Constitution? Hell no. They're sitting around babbling in mommy and daddy's garage or basement, waiting for somebody else to cook their meals for them. And they don't give a fiddler's fart because they don't know any better. So we're not only fighting that, we're fighting the apathy that these people have instilled in our children in the school systems.
Amen, Mr. B. Yes,
Good
sir.
Yeah, good point.
Yes, and we're not talking post-grad or undergrad school. We're talking elementary school.
Elementary and high school, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, do we really want to talk about systems of oppression now, or no?
Well, so name me a system of oppression that comes to your mind.
Saddam Hussein, water to the south, resources. What are we doing with immigration and all this stuff now? Bring them all in. So what can Biden and his administration do? Control a lot of resources, man. When I can control what your resources, i.e. water, so you can't grow crops, or I'm going to remove drilling rights and shit that makes your state money. Now I control resources when I have you on a check, because I limit how much you can get.
Yeah, but fortunately, a lot of us saw that. Well, I saw it coming anyway. I invested about $6,000 in the emergency food supply, and I also invested enough in survival equipment. I won't go into details to what I got, but I saw the handwriting on the wall.
Okay,
good point, Donnie. They control. If they get to control everything, they control you.
Yep.
What happened to Mr. B? He must have got knocked off.
He's
back. I got him. Jesus Christ. I mean, what?
No, just me.
What's happening? I mean, this stuff really gets stuck in my head here. Because if it was a conservative, like we said a little bit earlier, that said whites only, my gosh, With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after a 3.5-minute break. The way we see it, we'll be right back right here on the FFN Network. And when we come back, we're going to touch base on Karen Reed case. This is an old
Yes.
This is an old case, but new stuff has come up, closing arguments. Renee, you might want to maybe just type in Karen Reed. That will pop up just so you can refresh yourself if you're still going to hang around with us.
Yep.
And I applaud everybody else to do the same. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back in about 3.5 minutes right after this quick break.
No matter what you are, I will always be with you. Doesn't matter what you do, girl. Ooh, girl, want you. No matter where you go, I will always be around. Won't you tell me what you found, girl? Ooh, girl, want you. Knock down the old gray wall, be a part of it all. Nothing to say, nothing to see, nothing to do. If you would give me all, 'cause I would give it to you, nothing would be, nothing would be, nothing would be. No matter where you go, there will always be a place. Can't you see it in my face, girl? Ooh, girl, want you. Knock down the old gray wall, be a part of it all. Nothing to say, nothing to see, nothing to do. If you would give me all, 'cause I would give it to you, nothing would be, nothing would be, nothing would be. No matter what you are, I will always be with you. Doesn't matter what you do, girl. Ooh, girl, want you. Ooh, girl, you, girl, want you. Ooh, girl, you, girl, want you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for more of The Way We See It. We're at the top of the hour. We got an hour to go, ladies and gentlemen. So, Mr. D had brought up some information on the Karen Reed case. And I remember following that around the summertime. You know what I mean? Beginning of summertime. What do you figure this started? May? In May?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mr. D, why don't you give everybody a little quick rundown on the case before we pop this video up here?
Yes, sir. There's like 6 people that are in this case. A lot of police relationships. The state trooper that did the investigation of the police officer, he was tied in with this family. You got the video ready, Blaze?
Yes, sir.
I just want to make my prediction. I did quite a bit of research on this, and I think you'll see the kid's name Colin. He's one of the sons. He's getting prepped. He's a varsity football player, going to the Marines, and is probably going to do a rotation as a trooper or local police. Enjoy the video.
Yeah. So thanks, D. So with the video's super long, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be able to catch the full video on FFN Radio Network on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and all the fun things, and on TikTok. So we're gonna run about maybe 6 or 7 minutes of the video, give everybody a basic idea of it. But again, this is called Karen Reed case. What happened to Officer John O'Keefer? And again, you'll be able to watch the full video on our platforms. With that being said, let's take a listen.
Karen Reed and her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, were bar hopping on a snowy night in Massachusetts. At the end of the night, they were invited to a house party at the home of a fellow officer in Canton, Massachusetts.
Gentlemen, at any time, you could ask me to pause the video if anybody's got anything to add or to say, okay?
Yeah.
Very well.
When Karen and John arrived, Karen did not exit the car. John did. From that point forward, there are two very different versions of what happened. Prosecutors say Karen was mad at John and purposely struck him with her car and left him on the ground to die in the snow. But Karen and her defense team say John went to the party. Something terrible happened inside the house, and his body was placed outside, where he was found dead the next morning. Karen has been charged with murder, but claims she is the victim of a big cover-up by police. The battle inside the courtroom and outside the courthouse has been intense. Prosecutors insisting Karen Reed is a murderer, while she insists it was some.
I have a question for you, gentlemen. Now, they're having a big argument, right? She's pissed off at him, okay? I'm asking a panel here.
Yes.
Do you think, after that, she's pissed, whatever, that someone could, fucking nail somebody with the car? Who knows? They said he was on a pile of snow. Who knows if there was a fire hydrant underneath there or whatever it may be that could have actually, killed him. Again, this is speculation from me. And that she was so pissed off because of the argument that she didn't even realize that shit happened. Because if you're going to kill somebody, why are you going to kill somebody in front of the house that's having a big party? Anybody?
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead, D. No, you go first, D.
Actually, Donnie's up there. He dropped the H before all he is.
Go ahead, Donnie.
No, I was going to ask because he mentioned the pile of snow. An article I read said he was covered in a pile of snow. On and covered are two different things. If somebody covers you in snow, it's to try to keep you warm.
No.
Oh.
No,
What?
I think the snow. I think they dragged, and I'm probably going a little ahead, but he got his ass beat inside that house.
Yeah.
Out, and the snow probably accumulated over his body, so that's why
They said
reported it that way.
the article I read said there was no snowfall that night.
Okay.
So if he's covered in snow and there's blunt force trauma and all this shit to his head and dragged out, that means somebody put him in snow.
Donnie, yes.
Come on now.
Yes.
So that's where it's crazy for me. But all right, man. Sorry.
No,
We don't apologize. We just got done saying this was this could be done. I still got the video up. Just getting everybody's thoughts right here.
Can I interject something here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. However, the body got there, perhaps the reason the man was covered in snow, perhaps if there was snow on the ground or whatever else, a snowplow came through and just the snow getting shoved by the snowplow just flew up and covered the guy.
Possibility.
Driver of a snowplow is looking at the road. He's not looking at what's on the side of the road.
Right.
But if there was no snow accumulation from the reports, why would the snowplow be out then? Because the roads were probably cleared before the snow stopped. You know, the guys are out.
They're probably doing a cleanup.
Okay, I'll buy
Could
that.
be, but then again, there was no snowfall that night, right?
No.
What were the
That's what.
conditions of the street? Let's listen a little bit more. Donnie, I'll let you answer, or you want to
No,
hear?
no, no. No, go ahead and listen more because I say the same thing. There's just so many possibilities.
Right. That's our job, to try to figure them out.
Someone inside the house that night who is responsible for what happened to her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Tonight, we bring in our own independent experts to examine the evidence in this case piece by piece as we try to figure out what happened to Officer John O'Keefe.
I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And let me tell you, things are brewing up in Massachusetts in this case. This is heated, to say the least. I mean, anytime we do this story or anyone does this story, everyone is reacting, sending emails, texting. Everyone is just so hyper-focused on everything that transpires here. And then something extremely unusual happened. We had an angry DA who posted a statement, carefully crafted statement so he doesn't violate any ethical rules, which he did not. But a statement nonetheless where he is angry at those who are going after innocent victims of, members of the family and witnesses in the case. A lot of it happening on the internet, some of it happening outside the courthouse on the courthouse steps. But he posted a video and he was extremely angry about the way these witnesses and the victim's family and friends were being treated by people, a lot of them local, on the internet, talking about this case. And it's and say they are 100% innocent. They're presumed innocent, just like every criminal defendant. But that's what makes this case so different, is that it seems that the shoe is like on the other foot to a certain extent. It's rare that we see people protesting the prosecution at the courthouse. A huge crowd of people led by the man you see right there. He was on the show. Goes by the name Turtle Boy. Local social media personality with a growing following, talking about this case over and over again and kind of striking a nerve with a lot of people. I had him on the show to explain, why are you protesting? Why are you doing this? He's not connected to anyone in the show, but he said in the trial, but he said he thinks there's an injustice here. But the people that he's protesting are getting a little angry and fed up, and it goes back and forth, because they all believe that Karen Reed
Can you hit pause?
is a murderer.
Just tell me to do it, bro. Go ahead.
Ceasefire. I just want to bring point. This gentleman right here, they're talking about in the picture with the megaphone to his mouth. That is Turtle Boy. He's an ex-teacher. He quit his job and became just a blogger and stuff. And he quit his job, Mr. B, because he had a lot of strong conservative views. So he was breaking up that hate-making machine that happens in elementary schools. And the gentleman is right. He's got a hell of a following. Shit, he's even got a pay-to-see channel where he gets in depth with this. And that angry DA, Morrissey, he's the one that had him arrested for intimidating a witness. That's all I got on that.
Hey, can I jump in with one thing? Who said earlier that it wasn't snowing that night?
Donnie.
I think we all agreed there. Donnie said he heard an article.
CNN reports on January 29th, the man was found dead in a blizzard outside a house in suburban Boston. That was O'Keefe. I just go. WMER says on January 29th.
Okay, so
we had a blizzard.
I heard that.
Okay, so the article I was reading, then they got their shit wrong then. See, that's where maybe that's what it goes with what they're talking about. People talking about the case out in public and they don't got the facts right, and it's fucking it up.
Yeah, but even WMER is saying that there was a blizzard that night. So we got two.
All right. Okay. So
sources.
Right. Okay. So now, thank you, Renee. Awesome. That's the way this shit's got to work like that. So Mr. B, possibly snowplow comes by, covers them. Who here right now, okay, from the information that we have, Mr. D has more than we do, right here, and think that maybe it was a possibility that a snowplow came by and covered him.
How about this? He's outside stumbling drunk and a snowplow comes by and hits him.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's far-fetched from what we know. From what we know.
If I remember correctly, the location of the body was not on the street side. It was on the driveway side.
Donald?
Well, see, they keep talking about the snow. We can, okay, probably there was a blizzard, whatever. Here's another thing I got to ask, though, is they said, you know, there was a break in the taillight of the car and all this stuff, right?
Yes.
So, with all the technology, was there any DNA or blood, hair sample, something found in the plastic, the broken plastic of the car or nothing? I didn't find any article to say there was something like that found.
The only damage to her car was her right rear upper. I believe she had a Lexus.
Okay.
And her taillight was broken. And the wounds you see on his body do not equate to get hit.
We're not up that far. I'm sorry, D. We're not up that far. Let's listen a little bit, because we said we was covering this today, so that's what we're doing.
Doesn't. Neither does Karen Reed. As a matter of fact, Karen Reed believes she's a victim in all this. A victim of this police cover-up. And the DA was angry about that too.
So everybody believes that this broad did it, right?
These different departments and all these different people.
Well,
what, to frame her?
Well, all right,
that's what she
your
believes.
opinion. Let's listen.
That she did nothing wrong, and it was someone in that house. Remember, it was an after-hours police party that night. So the defense has been on the offensive. It's not just that they're saying, no, they can't prove this case. They're saying, no, we know something happened inside that house, and we need to get that evidence. I mean, and you'll see in the trial, and we'll show this jury. The defense is even saying there shouldn't even be a trial. They think the prosecution should just drop the charges. That's not happening. I mean, I heard the DA. He's seen all the evidence. He believes his evidence is strong enough to win this case, and he's convinced. But the question is, what does this evidence actually show? Now, some of it has been released through statements in court hearings and everything else, and we're going to go through that evidence piece by piece tonight. Going to bring in our own experts to try to get a better understanding. Because through all the chatter and the noise between the protesters and the defense attorneys and the prosecutor and everyone talking, we're going to just try to shut that out for a night and focus in on some of the evidence, get an independent look at it to see what it means, what questions still need to be answered, and try to get a little closer to what the truth may be in this case. But it may be very difficult, because the more you look at it, the more you're like, well, I don't know what exactly is happening here. So let's go through some of the facts of what happened that night and who was involved. So let's bring in our friend in Los Angeles, California, senior reporter for DailyMail.com, the host of Daily Mail Crime on TikTok, and a victim advocate for Project Cold Case.
Relationship had transpired in a way where things were good for a little while, and then they seemed not so great. And in the weeks leading up to O'Keefe's death, it seemed that their relationship had gotten a little bit rocky. There was a fight around New Year's Eve. There were some issues with the family and how O'Keefe took care of his sister's children or his relatives' children. At first, she loved that, and then it became kind of Karen Reed's responsibility. So things do seem a little rocky by the time we get to the end of January.
Okay, so let's go to the end of January and let's talk about that night. We've got a little bit of a timeline I want to walk through with you to try to get a better understanding of what generally was happening and what they were doing. We start at 7:37 p.m. John O'Keefe arrives at C.F. McCarty's in Canton. And then at 8:51, a little more than an hour later, Karen Reed arrives at C.F. McCarty's. And my guess is C.F. McCarty's, like a lot of the bars up there, it's where people go to,
Drink
Look
and
at
have a
Gal,
good
it's like
time?
a nice, like a pub, right?
Jesus.
Irish pub.
Nice Irish pub, and it's a night of. It seems like these two are meeting. They didn't go there together. Do we know? It's generally just out for drinking, right? Were they out to eat? Were they drinking? Were they celebrating anything, or any of that information?
It appears they were doing a lot of drinking. Some surveillance footage from inside the bar shows in the course of about an hour and a half, Karen Reed having something like 6 or 7 drinks. And this was the first bar they went to. And then they left and they met up with friends at a second bar where they presumably had more drinks. There was a lot of drinking happening this night, and the intention was clearly to do some more, because at the end of that second bar, the group was going to go back to have a little after hours party back at one of their homes. So there seemed to be quite a bit of drinking.
Again, guys,
the first thing that
jump in
sticks
at
out to
any
me
time.
is there is no way, if these drinks were alcoholic, which we assume they were, that Karen Reed should have been behind the wheel of a vehicle.
If you want to hold the image for a moment, please. I do have a point. Okay, we have video or whatever else of people that she's had consumed 5 or 6 or 7 drinks at one establishment. What was in those glasses?
Alcohol.
What?
How do you know?
How do you know?
Mr. B's getting to.
I don't.
How do you know what was inside those glasses? Maybe 1 or 2 drinks had some alcohol in it, and she said, "You know what? That's my limit, and I'm going to have ginger ale or club soda or whatever on the rest of the night." How do we know what was inside those glasses?
Did anybody get tested for alcohol?
Well,
it was probably too late, right?
I was reviewing the charges. I can't find anywhere where she was charged with OUI. If she was
Yeah.
that
Right.
drunk, she should have been driving. And if that's their case, that she was drunk and hit him with the car, I don't see an OUI charge. That stinks.
Donald?
But how would you get any OUI charge if, what I understand, the police didn't talk to her till the next morning when she was calling and finding the body?
I got. Yes.
Go, D.
No. So getting back on the OUI charge, she's being charged with murder. If you
Right.
get charged with OUI, they usually just go to manslaughter because you're not corrected in the mind. This argument that this Daily Mail lady makes comment about, we all know about the arguments and stuff. And once Daily Mail's yellow journalism, it's the shit you used to buy at the supermarket.
Yeah, like the Inquirer.
Yes. But she was arguing with her boyfriend, soon to be husband, about the kids. That's all she was frustrated about. And yes, she was all happy and glory about it, but he started getting in his ways, and he's like, whoa. There's no blood here with me. And they're all capitalizing on that night. That's all I have right now.
Anybody else? All right, let's continue.
You see her at several drinks in the night. There's absolutely no reason she should have been driving a car.
Yeah, and when we first looked at this case and the story, you would think that that's what it would be all about, right? A drunk driving or an alleged drunk driving accident, but that's not the way it's turned out here. All right, so as you mentioned, at 10:40 p.m., Karen Reed and O'Keefe leave together. They leave C.F. McCarty's, and about 15 minutes later, they arrive at the Waterfall Bar and Grill, also in Canton. This is interesting because they're hanging out in Canton. He's a Boston police officer, but where all this is happening, it's not Boston, and it's not a case that was investigated by officers that work with John O'Keefe.
No, this is our suburbs outside of it. But I do know that up in this community, the law enforcement group is not a huge, widespread thing. I mean, they have a lot of officers up there, but you know how small this, law enforcement can be, and everybody kind of does know everybody. I can't wrap my head around the fact that a bunch of police officers were around and allowed someone who may or may not have been absolutely hammered get behind the wheel of a car. That that still sticks out to me as being an issue. It also calls into question for me whether or not Karen Reed's a reliable narrator of her own story that night, assuming she was intoxicated.
Yeah. Like, how intoxicated was she? What does she remember? What does she not remember? But again, the charges here are that she did it intentionally, that this was no accident. 12:14 a.m. John O'Keefe texts Jennifer McCabe, "Where to?" Jennifer replies with the address of her brother's house on Fairview Road, which is where this so-called after party is going to take place. 12:31 a.m. Jennifer McCabe texts John O'Keefe, "Hello," when he sees what she believes is Karen Reed's black SUV at the residence. This is interesting. So Jennifer McCabe, who's inside the house, I guess perhaps or apparently sees Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, at least the car, arrive in front of this home.
That's exactly right. And another text that comes through around this time from Jennifer McCabe is basically giving them directions as to where in the driveway to park. I think it's something along the lines of, pull behind my car or pull behind this vehicle. So presumably the people in the house see that they're there in the driveway looking to park, and the people in the car presumably know that this is the house that they're going to because they were directed where to park. This moment in the timeline is where everything goes off the rails for me, because the people in the house say that he never came inside to this party. They never saw him. And then you have Karen Reed saying he got out of the car, went in the house, never came back, and never answered her phone calls. I can't believe that no one went outside ever to see where he was. If you see me pull up outside of your house and you're expecting me to come inside and all of a sudden I disappear and my car disappears, wouldn't you be concerned? And on the same token, if you and I are driving to a party and you get out of the car to go inside and you don't answer my phone calls or come back to the car, I'm going to get concerned. It didn't seem like anyone was concerned until tomorrow. Till the next day. So let's get to 12:40 a.m. Jennifer McCabe texts John O'Keefe, "Pull up behind me," and says she then saw the black SUV move from its initial place to the left side of the property. This is very specific. 12:45 a.m. Jennifer McCabe texts John O'Keefe, "Hello," and then observed the black SUV drive away. So if she's seeing it drive away, does
Mr. B.
Does she see it run John O'Keefe over? She's seeing a lot, but she's not seeing that.
Give me a second, sir.
Seeing a lot. She doesn't see John O'Keefe get run over.
Go ahead, Mr. B. What's on your mind? Oh, there he is. Okay. Go ahead, bud.
No,
I know you. I know you had to get back in, but you should add something now.
Oh no. What this lady's talking about, it's all semantics. There are so many different people that are inside this party. They may look out the window. They may not look out the window. When I go to somebody's party, I don't pay a mind of who may be outside and who isn't.
Me neither. I'm only interested, depending on, before my wife is getting a little tail and getting a little buzz. So, yeah.
I don't see where they're going with any of this. It doesn't
But if
really
somebody
make much sense.
if somebody in the house did something, then you could see why nobody would come out to look for them, right?
Well, I heard one report is that she did not, because now we have another female involved now. Her name's Jennifer McCabe. She's a wife of one of the police officers that was inside the house. But where the hell am I going with this? I just got lost.
It's all right, buddy. We got you.
No.
Go ahead.
You know what kills me? And I haven't seen one report yet, but the cell phone. I'm surprised nobody has got the cell phone data on both phones. The officer's phone, because it'll tell him where he was at.
Yeah, they can ping his phone. Yeah.
Yeah, they triangulate it off cell towers.
Yeah, towers. Yeah. But all right, I'm a little confused there. And I'm writing down that I need to ask you this when we get back. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around for the last half hour of The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. We will be back in exactly 3.5 minutes.
No matter what you are, I will always be with you. Doesn't matter what you do, girl. Ooh, girl, want you. No matter where you go, I will always be around. Won't you tell me what you found, girl? Ooh, girl, want you. Knock down the old gray wall, be a part of it all. Nothing to say, nothing to see, nothing to do. If you would give me all, 'cause I would give it to you. Nothing would be, nothing would be, nothing would be. No matter where you go, there will always be a place. Can't you see it in my face, girl? Ooh, girl, want you. Knock down the old gray wall, be a part of it all. Nothing to say, nothing to see, nothing to do. If you would give me all, 'cause I would give it to you. Nothing would be, nothing would be, nothing would be. No matter what you are, I will always be with you. Doesn't matter what you do, girl. Ooh, girl, want you. Ooh, girl, you, girl, want you. Ooh, girl, you, girl, want you.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the last half hour of The Way We See It right here on the FFN Radio Network. I'd like to thank my boys for being here, Mr. D, Mr. Donald, and the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Miss of the B. Special guest tonight is Renee from I-12, Real Talk, Real People. Renee, I'll throw you a minute to plug what you guys do. Why don't you tell our audience of a little bit about what you guys do? And
I-12 GIA and POMT, Peace of Mind Training. We're an intelligence group. We get intelligence gathering information, and we use that to formulate training programs for people that want to learn how to protect themselves. We offer travel advisories, and we offer first aid training, CPR, AED. We do firearms training and self-defense.
Right. Okay.
Can I offer a point of information just to clarify a point that Mr. D made?
Yeah.
I'm a student of Mark Furman's, and so I was doing some research during the break, and apparently I was reading an article. Let me see if I can pull it up. From November. It's dated November 16, 2023. A judge has ruled Karen Reed the Massachusetts woman charged in connection with the death of her boyfriend has the right to look at some of the cell phone records as requested by her defense team. And she was allowed, her defense team was allowed access to Jennifer McCabe's cell phone records the day O'Keefe's body was found. So they already looked at the cell phone records. So,
and they proved unvaluable to the case.
It doesn't go on to say, but I'm going to say this. Looking at the whole thing and looking at as many photos as I could of Karen Reed, she portrays an air of confidence. The same thing, the same confidence that Kyle Rittenhouse displayed. And so I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say they don't, A, they don't go forward with the case, or B, if they do, she's acquitted.
I growing up as a young man in that state, you knew how the police were just tight with each another, and within one organization you had the good cops and the middle cops, and the dirty ass corrupt cops. And I believe here in this case, you got John O'Keefe walks into a home. Karen Reed does not feel comfortable going into that home. He goes in there, he gets harassed, a little bully, the little son, 19-year-old, because his knuckles are bruised. They're able to identify in some photos he took after the incident, not police related, just him being his dumb ass. They beat the shit out of him, and then this dog, Chloe. There's no more record of Chloe. It was a canine German Shepherd police dog, retired. You cannot find the dog. Nobody knows where the dog went. It went poof. I'm being facetious now. Because on the gentleman's right arm, you could see where the dog marks were at. Go ahead, Donnie.
No, it's the same thing I was understanding too. Is where's the dog, the dog marks, And then the other thing too is, now that we're talking about the car, I haven't seen anything or report there where they say matched any DNA from the deceased to the car, or any of the stuff at where the incident happened is any of the plastics or whatever from the car. With today's technology and the way they find shit like that, come on now.
Yeah, no. And what's crazy is that, and I can't think of the trooper's name right now. He's the one that did the investigation, and I believe he's the godparent to one of the kids of the 4 officers that are involved in there. And it just smells cover up, and it smells, they killed this dude. And now could it be, back in my younger days, we'd always be looking for a scrap in the military. The Navy, they weren't so bad, but the Marines, you were going to get something with them. And was this, a Boston police officer in the Canton police community getting his ass beat?
No, because there was some.
You don't think so, Donnie?
Mr. B.
Gentlemen, where is the coroner's report? Where are the photographs in the coroner's report?
They're out there.
If there's tooth marks on this body, where are they? Where are the photographs of it?
Well, we're going to get to that, Mr. B. That's a good question, and we're going to get to that right now.
Legendary Trials. Go to TV.com/legendary trials to find out how to watch.
Undisputed fact number 1. On January 29th, 2022, Officer John O'Keefe was found dead in the yard of Brian Albert at his house at 34 Fairview in Canton. That is undisputed fact, where he was found dead and what the circumstances were surrounding that death are why we're here now. Second undisputed fact, when John O'Keefe was found, he had this set of wounds on his right right
Looks
arm.
like dog attack to me.
What do those wounds mean? What do those wounds mean?
Looks like a
Defensive
dog
wounds.
attack to me.
Someone did this trying to keep the dog from going after their face.
Right. Anybody dispute that?
Nope.
No, that's defensive marks. That you're defending yourself against a dog.
And that's it.
Yeah, D.
And the headlines that I just picked up was defense. Wounds suffered by Boston Police Department officer on night of death were from dog, not fight with girlfriend. Wow, they tried pumping that story too.
Yeah. But here's
but you know what kills me, Donnie, is that these district attorneys and assistant district attorneys, they should smell something fish, but all they're doing is fucking putting their hands in a pile, covering this up, and fucking moving on. That fucking disgusts me. That's go ahead, Donnie.
Donnie.
You got the
No, well, about the dog, everybody keeps missing the point. A retired service dog. So that dog is really they're like everybody else, like a police officer. Those dogs are taught to attack a little better than your just normal canine, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's one thing, but there's another part that you're saying, Demas, with the people in the towns too, because there was some politics involved too, where the young guy that was getting groomed to be the officer or the trooper that did his thing in the Marines, his daddy's a well-known little local politician or some shit.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, there was something in one of the articles I read that there was some conspiracy too about his daddy was higher up into the police force or some shit. There was a little politics involved, local politic type shit involved.
Yes, I heard the same. Let's listen a little more.
Prosecutor saying that's evidence of him getting run over. Defense is saying no, that's like from a dog that was inside the house where they say John O'Keefe was murdered. This is an unreal story. So we're going to go through the evidence piece by piece. Could bring in the experts in just a second. But first, let's take a listen from the prosecution's case report, the findings made during the autopsy in this case. Let's listen.
On January 31st, Dr. Irini Scortibello from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner conducted the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe. The doctor advised the troopers that she observed several abrasions to the victim's right forearm, 2 swollen black eyes, a small cut above the right eye, a cut to the left side of the nose, an approximately 2-inch laceration to the back right of his head, and multiple skull fractures that resulted in bleeding of the brain. Dr. Scortibello further advised the troopers that the victim's pancreas was a dark red color indicating hypothermia, was a contributing factor to his death. Dr. Scortibello opined from her examination that the significant blunt force trauma injuries occurred prior to Mr. O'Keefe becoming hypothermic, as evidenced by hemorrhaging in his pancreas and stomach. Mr. O'Keefe had arrived at the Good Samaritan Medical Center with a body temperature reading in the low 80s. The doctor opined that the extensive injuries to his head likely rendered Mr. O'Keefe incapacitated.
What does all that mean? Let's bring in our experts. So we've got a great panel tonight.
I have an important question here regarding the blunt force trauma marks. They said 2-inch scars around the back of the head. Does this sound consistent? Now, you gentlemen would probably be far more well versed than I am in this, but does this sound consistent with perhaps blows from the butt of a handgun, like a service weapon?
It could be, but that also sounds like, let me get back into some alcohol days. That's a bad, bam, 2-inch laceration. That's a good-sized bottle to the back of the head. Multiple fractures to the skull. Now let's go back to that lady's defense. And what the prosecution is saying about she hit him and drove away or something. She's saying that she watched him go into the house and then she drove away and they got home. So how in the hell can she hit him multiple times with the car then? No. Because if she hit him one time with the car, that would probably mean a severe single fracture of the skull, not multiple, meaning I got hit with different objects from different angles.
No.
That sounds like he took an ass whipping.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Mr.
Yes,
Renee, your thought. Of course, it would have helped largely if we knew whether that these lacerations were straight, whether they were curved, whether they were jagged, uniform in any way. But I mean, 2 inches long, that is enough for, again, to me, like the butt of an area where a magazine would go into a handgun.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Like took and did this with the.
Like Donnie said, it could be a bottle too. I'm visualizing a motor vehicle, and I can't see any part of a motor vehicle that only causes a 2-inch laceration. Somebody gets hit by a motor vehicle, there's multiple body. I've seen it. Believe me, I've seen it over the years. There's multiple body trauma. Nothing like we're looking at tonight.
Gentlemen? Mr. B, you good? Everybody good?
I'm good. We can continue on. Thank you very much. I can continue on with the presentation.
Donnie, were you going to say something?
No, there's also the part about the pancreas being dark red in that, because like when I was contracting on this with Scott Demas, you know, we had that kid that was being, you know, he was a dummy. He's riding on the back of the tailgate, I mean the trunk, and when they went to corner, kind of gunned it, he fell, hit his head on the concrete. He died right there. His face was purple, right? They're not talking that his, you know, if he got hit to the head, then his face would be purple and swollen as well.
Donnie, I think they said the pancreas was due to the hypothermia.
Right. So once again, that sounds like usually you get hit in the head with a car. That's an impact that kills you immediately.
Yeah.
Not something I took an ass whip and I'm laying in the snow and then I die slowly.
Yeah.
And to look at the pictures of the vehicle, the only thing that was cracked on that vehicle was the lens cover. There was no damage to the actual vehicle.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
you know what I mean. The human body can take a blunt force, but it also returns it too.
The injuries to the officer don't explain the damage to the car.
No, and
do we agree on that?
Yes.
All right, let's listen more.
But you know what's sad though?
All right.
Is that they found pieces of that lens supposedly at the crime scene, at the scene of where the officer was found.
Oh,
I think it was planted.
Yeah. All right. I'm with you on that. All right, let's listen to a few more. Let's listen to about 4 more minutes of this, and then we'll do our little closing statements and then all that fun stuff like that.
The victim's right forearm, 2 swollen black eyes, a small cut above the right eye, a cut to the left side of the nose, an approximately 2-inch laceration to the back right of his head.
That explanation right there to me is somebody getting punched in the fucking face real good.
Yep.
And multiple skull fractures that resulted in bleeding of the brain. Dr. Scorty Bello further advised the troopers that the victim's pancreas was a dark red color indicating hypothermia was a contributing factor to his death. Dr. Scorty Bello opined from her examination that the significant blunt force trauma injuries occurred prior to Mr. O'Keefe becoming hypothermic, as evidenced by hemorrhaging in his pancreas and stomach. Mr. O'Keefe had arrived at the Good Samaritan Medical Center with a body temperature reading in the low 80s. The doctor opined that the extensive injuries to his head likely rendered Mr. O'Keefe incapacitated.
What does all that mean? Let's bring in our experts. We've got a great panel tonight. And Coach, as you listen to that and you look at the results, is it consistent with someone being struck as someone is backing up a car?
Well, I think, you know, it really depends on the body conformation, the body position, but potentially that forearm could be a pattern from the car.
No.
From a car part.
No.
But I think really what it shows is that that's not typical for a dog bite. Usually you have like the canine punctures and then small marks from the.
How about a canine scratch?
I still think that's less likely.
Gotcha.
I've seen various dog bites,
Okay.
and I think.
Does anybody
If you mean
agree with
canine
what
scratch
she's
from the
saying right
nails
now?
or from
No,
his teeth?
no, fast forward, please.
Maybe if you're
I
getting
believe
the
she's
black
got a
eyes
doctorate of something.
vibe a little bit for.
But this is significant because one of the reports reads that he was holding a glass and that they found shards of glass that may have been embedded in the bumper. And back to the doctor's point just a moment ago, relative to these injuries that you're seeing, one of the things that we look for in pedestrian strikes with motor vehicle accidents is we look for something called bumper marks. Generally, you see them on the leading edge of a car. If somebody is standing erect and they're trying to cross the street, one of the things that you see is that they're struck, generally around the knees, that sort of thing. Man, he doesn't have any insults, it sounds like, really inferior to his hips. Everything is kind of taking place up above that. It would almost give you potentially the indication that he was in an asymmetrical position relative to this vehicle, with this vehicle potentially towering over him as she's impacting him. I think that that's kind of significant. And the scratches on the arms, I'm fascinated by this because it's cold weather, Vin, as you've all stated. He would have had layered clothing on, Ben. So this is not something, these injuries, I know the head trauma requires a tremendous amount of force, but this could very well be consistent with almost a rollover type event where the vehicle is running over him to generate this through a layer of clothing. However, we are absent one key piece here. We don't know how he was clothed at this point. So that's going to be significant.
That's going to be significant. All right, let's take a look here at Dr. Kinsey. Evidence found near O'Keefe's body, okay? So he's in that front yard area. The snow has fallen down. As Joseph Scott Morgan was saying, they located a broken cocktail-style glass and multiple patches of red that appeared to be blood in the vicinity of where the body had been located. The Canton officer secured the glass and 6 blood samples from the snow as evidence. We also have to note that his cell phone was found underneath his body, not in a pocket, but loose and under his body. Dr. Kinsey, putting the pieces together that we have so far, what is it telling you?
Well, Vinny, I got to agree with the fine doctor and certainly the professor. Both of them have great points. And looking at those injuries on the victim, things I noticed was their uniform and they're very symmetric. I'm agreeing with doctor and professor. I believe we may have the victim down, and I would start looking for something under that vehicle that can make those injuries, because they don't look like an animal injury to me, and certainly they are uniform to the trained eye. So I'd start looking under that vehicle and see what kind of evidence I have, and maybe they have that. Maybe that's what they're banking on in this, but that is where I would have started.
Okay, let's take a look at the Lexus SUV, Mike King. They observed fragments of broken glass on the rear bumper of the vehicle. The rear right passenger side tail light was shattered, and pieces were observed missing from the red and clear areas. On the right side of the rear tailgate, a deep scratch and minor dent were observed. On the right side of the rear bumper, above a small red light, 2 scratches were observed, and one area where paint was chipped off.
Okay, boys, let's get some closing arguments here for this, and we will continue this segment next Tuesday on The Way We See It. Let me start off here with Donnie.
Okay, so if they're gonna say those marks ain't from from a dog, but those scratch marks on his bicep area I could go real easy with those are close enough for a German Shepherd because, I've raised them a lot. I've got one now that, yeah, their paws are pretty much like that, where the middle or whatever comes it's out a little longer. What's the clothing that he was wearing? Does the tears on the clothing match some of that? Maybe that's what he does it. I mean, if there was snow on the ground, there's a blizzard, there's no road rash. So you ain't going to get, because they're trying to say those marks look like road rash. I'm not getting that in snow.
So why, Donnie, can I add?
You're not going to, how are you going to get hit in the head with all that by getting what, from the bumper net? I don't think so. Then there's injuries to your lower body like the other guy says. But go ahead, Demas.
Was he drunken? Was he crawling on the floor to get run over? I don't know. But what I wanted to make a point is that these guys were all saying this wasn't German Shepherd. With all the education they have, I was kind of, a retired shepherd's probably what, 10, 12 years old? That puts him at 70, 80 years old. I'm pretty sure they're missing a couple of their chompers and shit. Probably a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. And especially,
you're going to see in a regular pattern on the bike. And then second, why wasn't her car impounded? Because if she did run him over, there should have been some meat fragments on a shock absorber mount or a, rocker panel and stuff,
There's some DNA somewhere on that car, man.
Yes.
There's DNA on that car.
If she ran him over.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Renee?
I've been looking for the last 10 minutes at pictures of the undercarriage of a Lexus SUV, and I just don't see where these other people are seeing. So until next Tuesday, I'm going to leave it with not guilty.
Not guilty. I agree. Not guilty.
But I really want to find out who did it.
I'll tell you what, Mr. B. I'll tell you what, Mr. D. I was with the sheriff's department in Stratford County 2 years ago. We had a guy on trial for double homicide. State police got on the stand and they withheld evidence. After they were confronted, they said they turned it over. They didn't turn it over. I sat through a 4-hour suppression hearing. The case ended up getting kicked out. Okay? Went to the Supreme Court. The guy's just going to be retried now. The trial's coming up again. Okay? So, you know what? Police cover-ups do happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. Yes. Would be lying if we said otherwise. So,
but to do one of their own, I just see envy here. I also see hey Colin, I think that's the kid name. You want to be a cop, you gotta beat one up.
Well, look what happened. Look what happened in Boston many years ago. And I was there. I was in my truck. I hear, hey, stop, police. I see this black guy running towards my truck. I thought for a second to open the door and hit him with the door to stop him. I'm glad I didn't, because when he ran past me, he had a gold badge around his neck. And there were two white cops right behind him. Come to find out, those two white cops chased him. They didn't know he was a cop, and they beat the shit out of him. That guy today is the Boston police commissioner.
Gentlemen, pardon me, but I need to step out at the moment. I need to step out now. I just got receiving an urgent phone call.
Okay.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful show.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas.
Everything is well.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Anyway, that's my take on it.
Right. Me, I can't wait until next Tuesday.
But hey, let's do this. Let's understand when she does get, found not guilty or insufficient, they throw it out or whatever. The city of Canton, they're going to be in the state of Massachusetts, is going to be paying that lady for a while.
Damn right.
That civil suit is coming.
Damn right.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Okay, guys. Everyone out there, thanks for tuning in to The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. Peace and love to each and every one of you out there. Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. Don't forget to check out the Miss Tammy and Blazeman show tomorrow from 7 to 8. followed by Politicking with Mr. B from 8 to 9. Thursday is My Voice is My Power from 7 to 8:30 with Alyssa Thorpe. And Sundays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. is I-12 GIA, Real Talk with Real People. A great show, just started on a network, so don't forget to check that out. And any show that you feel that you missed on a network, you can always go to any one of our platforms and you can rewatch the show. Again, D.
Thank you for jumping on, Renee. I'm glad I got to meet you and talk with you.
Likewise, Mr. D.
Donnie, good seeing you. I hope you're feeling good, brother.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just gotta wear a splint for a couple weeks
Blaze,
or week or
thank
so.
you. And if you tell me happy holidays, I'm going to respond to you in a loud and thunderous Merry Christmas. And that's what I do. And I wish to everybody that's listening and to the panel, Merry Christmas.
Donnie.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, just happy holidays to everybody. Thanks for
Merry
connecting.
Christmas.
Yeah, you too,
However
Donnie.
however we're connecting, Renee, good
Merry
talking.
Christmas,
Try to
you
join you
call
guys,
me.
maybe try to join you guys one of them times. I don't know, but like I always say, think positive, do positive everywhere you can, man. We'll be doing better. See y'all next week.
Peace out, brothers.
Renee.
Yes.
You're up.
Blaze Man.
You're up.
I want to say Merry Christmas, Blaze Man, Mr. B, and Donnie especially, and my dear friend Mr. B especially. I love you guys. I consider you all family, and it's great to get together and have these chats.
Yes, sir.
It's important, like Blaze said, that the information gets out there.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And again, before we go, peace and love to everybody out there. Renee, you're more than welcome to stop in anytime.
Thank you.
Any of the boys. And we'll catch you all next Tuesday right here on the FFN Network. I got a lot of buttons to press, so hold on.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Okay, man.
Renee.
All right, good night, everybody. Stick around a few minutes after the show.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able